Welcome one, welcome all. It is the greatest crossover event ever attempted and ever landed in the history of mankind. The NFC East Mixtape brought to you by Blogging the Boys, Bleeding Green Nation, Hogs Haven, Big Blue View, all four NFC East properties at SB Nation. I am RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys. He is Brandon Lee Gowton from Bleeding Green Nation. BLG, happy Tuesday, the ultimate Tuesday to you, my friend.
I was just going to bring this up if you didn't, because I feel like this is something you would like, that you would mention. I would argue that Tuesday is the worst day of the week.
So what we're talking about, by the way, and we do record this on Tuesdays, just to pull back the curtain. We release it on Wednesday mornings. Today is February 22nd, 2022. So it looks like 2/22/22 at 2:22 and 22 seconds. It will obviously be even cooler. Yeah, Tuesday is like the hardest day in my household. My wife and I both work from home, and so we both have a lot going on. So we already juggle the dog, and Tuesday's trash day, so we deal with the trash truck. And now we have our son, and so like Tuesday's a difficult day to land, if I'm being honest with you. So it's a cool little thing, but I mean, I'm ready for Wednesday. It's really all I'm saying.
How do you power rank the days of the week?
Ooh,
if you'd rank all seven? Because I have a strong opinion on this, and my number one will shock you.
I could see. I think Thursday's the best day because Thursday.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Why are you going to agree with me on this? This is what I was going to say.
Thursday is cool because you're past the hump, and it kind of has like weekend vibes. Sometimes something weekendy is happening. Sometimes you start vacations on a Thursday or something like that. There's Thursday night football in the fall. Like it's a very fall-y sort of day. I would say Saturday is number 2. Friday's number 3. Sunday number 4, you deal with the Sunday scaries that people talk about. Wednesday number 5, again hump day. Monday 6 and Tuesday 7.
I agree with those rankings almost, I think, completely. Thursday is the best to me because it's all about anticipation, and I think it's about thinking about like, oh wow, an exciting weekend to come. I think that's there's something to that, as opposed to when you're in the moment. Like the idea of something can be sometimes better than the actual execution of it. We know that a lot in the NFC East. And yeah, I would say Tuesday is the worst. I compare it to like running, as like when you start a run, you're not
the first mile
fatigued.
sucks.
Yeah, you're fine for the first 5 minutes or whatever, but then it starts to hit and you're like, crap, I have so much longer to go and I'm starting to feel tired. I know I have so much more stuff so that's why Tuesday to me is the worst. So
yeah, and then to the running analogy, after the first mile you're like, this isn't so bad, I could do 2 more miles, 3 more miles, and I'm totally fine. Yeah,
and then you're at Thursday and you see the finish line, you're like, I got this, I can finish this out, no problem. I made it through the hardest part. So if you have your own takes and you want to power rank the days of the week with us, you can use what kind of hashtag, RJ, and tweet at us at Brandon Gowton and at RJ Ochoa.
I think just hashtag day, because that's the common denominator among all of them.
Yeah, that's lost in a bunch of other stuff.
But it's also easy. Like you come up with these hard hashtags for people to write out, like they're difficult. Like if you tweet at us and include hashtag day, it's pretty obvious. That's what I'm saying. Just keep it, keep it general. Day, boom.
I hate it.
Next week we might power rank the months, if we're in the right mood. But today
October's
is
number 1. Spoiler alert.
It is very much so. Every Thursday in October rules. Anyway, so today we are not doing power rankings, but we are crowning things. Today, this was Brandon's idea. All credit to him. It is kind of award season, right? Like February is like the Oscars and the Emmys, and I don't think the Tonys or Grammys are this month, but definitely the Oscars and the Emmys. If you could fact check that would be great, but whatever. Anyway, it is also award season here on the NFC East Mixtape. The NFL handed out their awards 2 weeks ago. Those are stupid, except for Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's the only award that mattered. We are going to hand out Defensive Rookie of the Year. We are also going to hand out Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and MVP, all within the NFC East specifically. And with the exception of the Rookie of the Year awards, we are also going to tell you who is going to win them in 2022, the 2022 season, not the 2023 season Washington Commanders. Do you understand the rules, Brandon Lee Gowton?
I do.
By the way, it seems like the Commanders are accepting that they got pwned on the year thing. I think they are updating the crest. So good for them, I guess.
Yeah, I know that was big for you and a lot of people. So glad we can get that. I also have a surprise once we're done with the awards. So you don't
Oh,
know what it's about. It's not actually like, one of these surprises that I'm just saying it to the audience. It's actually surprising you. So, but I think it'll be worth it.
I have a surprise as well. So
Great.
I'm very excited. Okay, got my bottle of water, got our list. Let's go. First up, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? Because I think we both know where we're going here.
I'll let you say it.
Uh, well, I mean, Kadarius Toney had a moment in October. I mean, so
moment.
let's
Okay, Bill
not
Simmons.
let's not forget. But how could it not be Devontae Smith? I don't know. I'm so excited to build our all NFC East team in a few weeks. Whenever that ultimately comes, we don't have a plan. I know we'll do that. I don't know when. I don't know if he'll make it or not. Again, I'm excited for that debate. But there's no question that he is Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think he's the best wide receiver from his class. Again, it's hard to beat out Jamar Chase. But I think he lived up to what you would have wanted or what you did want. I even told you last week that I think it's underrated how the Eagles still landed him. I thought when they traded out of 6 with the Dolphins, that was goodbye to Devontae Smith. And they moved up. They got their guy. And so good for the Eagles. Good for Devontae Smith. Now just use him, Nick Sirianni. That's all I say.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles employed the NFL's heaviest run offense last year. They had a league low 50.13 passing percentage, so barely passing more than running, which is pretty crazy in today's NFL. So I think you totally have to factor that in when you look at his numbers. He's not going to have the same kind of volume that other players would have if they actually did pass the ball. But that being said, Devontae Smith still broke the Eagles franchise rookie record for receiving yards more than Deshaun Jackson. Everyone likes to be like
that record means nothing. That's like breaking the Bears all-time passing record. Like that's
not. I mean, it's not nothing. Yeah, but yes, in a vacuum, league-wide context, does it matter a ton? No, but like it's significant for the NFC East, which is the discussion we're in, and the Eagles.
The more significant award is Offensive Rookie of the Year on the NFC East Mixtape. Let's be honest.
Well, here's what I'll say. Everyone likes to be like, oh, well, Devontae Smith had an extra game. Yeah, but like he did it in 16 fewer targets than Deshaun had. So I don't want to hear that. Like he had less opportunity to get that record. And the point is, Devontae Smith had a very encouraging rookie season. And I truly feel like it, and I've said it a billion times, I'm a broken record. If he was in a passing offense that had even normal volume or, best case scenario, high volume, he would probably be a lot better and produce a lot more than, he did this year, which is not saying a lot, but clearly his award.
Congratulations to Devontae Smith. Let's move on because these are kind of obvious. It was, like I said, the Eagles did get their guy because they traded up with the Dallas Cowboys to 10 overall to draft Devontae Smith and set up, Brandon, you can say it, the Defensive Rookie of the Year with the 12th overall pick.
I believe it was Micah Parsons. That's because right. Who else would it even be? Who was second place for this award? I don't even know. I can't give you a good answer for that.
Was Kadarius Toney second for the Offensive Rookie of the Year? Like technically, I guess. I
think you could. There's a stronger case for maybe like Landon Dickerson than Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, that's tough cookies. I mean, honestly, the heaviest contender for Defensive Rookie of the Year with Micah is probably his teammate, Osa Odighizuwa. I mean, that might be the heaviest, sort of. And if not for Micah Parsons, Osa might have won it league-wide. I mean, he was very, very, very good. It was just overshadowed by Micah. Cowboys kind of stumbled into this pick, like they've done many times, like Dak Prescott before, like Zach Martin before. I mean, just, fortune smiled on the Cowboys. Again, they traded back with the Eagles from 10 to 12, and they were wiped out because of the fact that Carolina took J.C. Horn and that Denver took Patrick Surtain. That really kind of left them in this spot. And, we were live on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel that night where you can watch the NFC East Mixtape. By the way, you can also watch it on the Bleeding Green Nation YouTube channel. And the moment that Patrick Surtain went to Denver at 9, I asked our audience, I said, what do you want to do? It was trade back. Everybody panicked. And when they took Micah Parsons, I mean, again, you're taking a linebacker in what was effectively in a top 10 pick with a top 10 pick. I know it wasn't literally, but the general mentality was this is only worth it if they just completely overuse him, if they use him everywhere, if he's just this monster. And that felt impossible, but that's what he became. And he is kind of the only thing that I feel completely confident in when it comes to the Cowboys. I have high levels of confidence in other things, but I mean, he is the one thing that he's the foundation I would build anything around right now.
It's pretty crazy how not only Like, did they, find this guy kind of by accident? Not like total accident. Obviously, everyone knew he was a good prospect, but also, as we've talked about before, how they used him and the fact that the Cowboys were so depleted on their defensive line early in the season, specifically heading into that first Eagles game where like a bunch of players, like Tank got hurt and he went on IR. Then a bunch of players were also like on IR or out that week or on the COVID list. Like they had like no one left playing like the defensive line. So they had to move Micah Parsons there. And I guess it started in that Chargers game too. And I remember at the time you were reading off like these crazy kind of pressure numbers he had. And it felt like a fluke game at first because like the numbers were just so crazy and they're like better than like something that Chase Young had ever done basically to this point. And it kind of just kept up the whole year, which is pretty insane to think. Because it was funny because a lot of the talk around Micah Parsons, I remember coming into the draft was like, oh, you can kind of move him to edge rusher. And though it wasn't like totally off the radar, but the way people talked about that was kind of like you could do that sometimes as opposed to like he's going to thrive in that spot like all the time. And he did. So it's pretty crazy.
Honestly, I can't. Maybe Zach Martin is the answer, but I can't remember a rookie generally to come into the Cowboys and make this high level of an impact. I mean, it's a higher level of impact than Dak or Zeke. I know Dak wasn't like amazing as a rookie, but just
Sham Rookie of the Year award. Yeah.
Really, really sad, by the way, that our two rookies of the year wore numbers so unnatural for their positions. Like, I'm still not okay with Devontae wearing 6, or I've kind of made my peace with Micah wearing 11. Like, I like 11 more than 6 is not a cool number to me. It's hard because of the way the top hangs. You know what I mean? It's not a sleek looking number. It is, hey, but I'm happy for Devontae. Yeah.
I mean, at least he wore it in college, and he's thinner, and the Eagles font isn't great. I've said that a lot. Their jersey font is just not a good font. So I think in a better font, it might look a little better, but theirs is just kind of tough.
Okay, so our next awards, our next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 awards, we're going to tell you who won them this past season in the NFC East and predict who's going to win them this coming season. So first up, Brandon, Offensive Player of the Year. Now, generally speaking, this is the NFL's like, this was the best non-quarterback offensive player. Cooper Kupp obviously won it this year. I have not made up my mind yet. So I'm freely here to debate. I'm here to listen to you. I have an idea of where I want to go, but what are your thoughts?
It's Jason Kelce. And here's why.
Oh my God.
The Eagles had an elite offensive line, and he's the best offensive lineman from that offensive line. They had like the number 1 rushing attack overall. Like that's how they finished the season, indisputable. And it wasn't because they had some amazing running back. It was because of their offensive line.
Wow.
And I'm not going to be like the NBA here.
The Jordan Howard disrespect. Wow.
In 20, whatever it was. And they gave like the player of the month to the Atlanta Hawks starting 5, like the whole lineup, because that would be dumb. I was tempted to give it to the Eagles offensive line, but that would be dumb. So I didn't do that. So I gave it to one of obviously their best player from this group, a player that one RJ Ochoa said was the Eagles' most overrated player, and then went on to make his 3rd All-Pro team and 4th Pro Bowl, I believe, this year. And Jason Kelce, future Hall of Famer. Jason Kelce is a big reason why the Eagles had that success in the second half of the season. I think he is the best. I think you can make a case he's the best offensive player in the division.
So I applaud the ingenuity to say, I don't want to give it to a skill position player.
So patronizing.
But no, I mean, it's like you and Stats actually a few weeks ago got all, mad about Quentin Nelson not winning Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2018, was it?
Did I say this?
Stats did. Stats did. But like, I still believe it was stupid that Odell won Rookie of the Year over Zach Martin, because you can contextualize. Like, we live in a day, a day and time where you can understand, specifically how good offensive linemen are. Now, some of that is subjective, whatever.
Like and when Tyron Smith wins like offensive player of the week, whatever. That was like that was the biggest shame.
So
that's
this
like
is
only a Cowboys offensive.
This is one point of subjectivity. Okay, so just going off of PFF's grades, which again, not the end all be all, but just going off of PFF's grades. Jason Kelce finished 3rd among centers as far as offensive grade is concerned. 84.5 as an offensive grade. 69.2 pass blocking grade. 89 run blocking grade. Like you said, great in the run game. If we're really going to do this, Zach Martin finished with a higher offensive grade, finished with a higher pass blocking grade, and I'm just checking here, making sure because I can't remember it from jumping page to page. Also a higher run blocking grade. So Zach Martin, literally, objectively, through this subjective prism, a better offensive lineman than Jason Kelce. So if you want to go down this path, Zach Martin literally deserves it more than Jason Kelce.
No, disagree.
Yeah. That's literally true. Like, you can't just because you want say Jason Kelce gets it.
PFF is not the end all be all.
Well, it's a far more accurate measurement than I'm Brandon and I want Jason
Disagree.
Kelce. There's no way.
How about wanting?
No.
You just can't admit that you were wrong. You picked.
I am not wrong. Again, I've got a vast data source behind me backing Zach Martin over Jason Kelce. So what do you have besides your opinion? I mean, and Jason Kelce should also be knocked for his fraud, consecutive starts streak continuing by barely playing in week 18. So it's not Jason Kelce. I don't think it's Zach Martin either. We have to pick a player, a real player. No offense to offensive linemen. And I don't think there's one. There's not one that really jumps out. If we are excluding quarterbacks, and even if we included quarterbacks, I mean, it would be Dak and nobody else.
He shouldn't be it though. It doesn't feel right.
Well, but I know. But I mean, we're talking about the NFC East. Again, Dak would be the only one legitimately in contention. I honestly think if we're again talking about non-offensive linemen, we're gonna get accused by a lot of people being homers back and forth here. All right, this Mr. Jason Kelce. I think he should win because I'm Brandon. Is it CeeDee Lamb? And I don't feel great about that. But is it how is it not? I mean,
I don't think so. Even you were he's been low key disappointing. It doesn't feel
right. I know, but again, it's that's we're picking.
We don't have to agree on the pick. We don't both have to come to a consensus.
I think we have to. That's the whole point. NFL Honors doesn't have people who win different awards. We have to agree on
but there's the AP team and there's the PFWA team. There's different teams.
Okay, then
there's one that's real and recognized, and that's mine, and then there's yours.
This is what we'll do. We'll each come up with our own. If we don't agree, we'll come up with our own list. We'll tweet them out. We'll have people tell us who has the better list. So my offensive player of the year, the offensive player of the year, the NFC East Mixtape is Zach Martin.
All right. Oh, okay. So who do we think is winning next year? Now we have to spin it ahead.
Obviously, we're not factoring in players that are potentially in the NFC East by way of free agency in the draft. And I don't know if I would throw Amari in that mix if I knew he was going to be back. I just don't know that I think he's going to be. There's no Giant or Commander, right? I feel so stupid saying Commander still.
It could be Terry McLaurin in theory.
It could be, but I mean,
I don't think it's likely, but it could be.
I mean, maybe.
It's possible. He would be top 5 in the odds, or top 10 at least, top around there.
For these odds for this award.
He'd be in top 5 probably. Yeah.
Well, it's not hard. There's 8 options, so to not be top 5 is difficult.
Maybe top 3 even.
I think if I have to pick a contender, how about we do this? We pick a contender for every team to be in the mix.
That's a lot.
I know, but for the Cowboys, I can't confidently say Amari because I don't know if he's going to be back. So I'll say CeeDee. Again, I don't feel great about that. For the Eagles, I'll say Devontae, just because.
Yeah, that was my pick.
Right. And for Washington, I would say Terry McLaurin. And for New York, Daniel Jones. I mean, I know we're not including quarterbacks, kind of, but I mean, it ain't Saquon.
Kadarius Toney, your boy.
He's not my boy. I mean, maybe Kenny Golladay. No touchdowns between the two of them, by the way, this season.
I would bet on Toney, I think, before Golladay at this point.
Okay. So this may be a bit more of a depressing exercise than we thought it would be, which is saying something because we knew that this would be tough. Okay. So there goes Offensive Player of the Year. Congratulations to Zach Martin. Defensive Player of the Year in the NFC East for 2021 before we predict the future. It's obviously Micah Parsons.
Yeah. We don't need to rehash.
Right. Well, I would like to hear you sing his songs one more time if you don't mind. I mean, it is on the
rundown. I already did. I gave him his due. I'm not trying to deny it. He was great.
He went to Brandon's favorite college, by the way, so everybody knows. Brandon loves the Nittany Lions.
I'm not really against Penn State. I just like to troll them sometimes.
It's We Aren't. That's your troll.
Yeah. So a little backstory for maybe one person who cares about this. During the past season here, fall 2021, I was actually at my good friend Patrick Wall, former BGN contributor, still kind of occasional, at his wedding. And I got a text. I wasn't even watching the Penn State game from Jimmy Kempski, who you're familiar with, RJ.
He hasn't been on yet. We got to fix that at a certain point.
of BGN Radio. Jimmy, the OG NFC East kind of champion in the sense of used to have bloggingthebeast.com. Did you know about that? Were you around for that back when Jimmy ran an all NFC East site?
I was not, but Jimmy is kind of the like the founding father of the trolley nature of the NFC East.
Yes.
So we all hate each other because of him. He incited this.
I remember saying back in the day, like recommending to him, I was like, "Hey, you should convince SB Nation to like let you run an NFC East SB Nation blog. That would be fun." Didn't happen.
We literally kind of did that ourselves though. So shout out to us.
Well, in podcast form, but anyway.
How about you get back to the thing?
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
Yeah.
So Jimmy texts me and he's like, "I need you to tweet out that like we aren't." So I did. And it's funny because a bunch of Penn State people got mad at me, and I was like, I didn't even watch the game. I was just tweeting this just to get a rise out of all you, and it worked. So that's what I do.
Defensive Player of the Year for the 2022 season. I mean, you mentioned like odds. The overwhelming favorite would be Micah Parsons. I mean, who's coming close? I mean, maybe Chase Young. Maybe if he rebounds.
If you wanted to do like the weird thing that the NFL does and like doesn't like to double up on awards, I guess you would say.
Well, no, don't spoil anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, but just but you're right. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't think there's any giant in the running. I mean, that I would feel confident about.
They might trade James Bradbury. Been seeing a lot of like buzz about that, especially to the Raiders.
That wouldn't help for their cause at winning this award. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying like so he might be gone, so you can't pick him.
I think the heaviest contender, and this you'll love this, much like Defensive Rookie of the Year, might be Micah's teammate, might be Trayvon Diggs. Like if there were odds, I think Diggs would be second.
Well, that's what I was going to say with like the don't double up NFL's approach to not double up on awards. Like maybe they would, like since we already kind of gave Micah Parsons Defensive Rookie of the Year, we can't give him Defensive Player of the Year. We're going to give it to Trayvon Diggs because he had a bunch of interceptions, something like that.
Okay, well, so we agree.
Washington, Chase Young.
Yeah, I mean Chase. There's the only real contender is Chase Young to Micah, right? So we agree there.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know who would be on the Eagles.
Maybe Darius Slay if he had like
Javon Hargrave. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations to Micah Parsons. This coming up nice for the Cowboys. Okay. So here we go. This is what you were about to spoil. My dog's barking in the background, by the way. I think the mail's passing.
Can't hear it.
Well, good. At least I'm honest. Nobody ever can deny that I'm an honest podcaster. But comeback player of the year, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow actually won this award as far as the NFL is concerned. I mentioned the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel. I did a video, kind of right after the season ended where I pontificated. I said, I don't think Dak's going to win this award. I think Joe Burrow's going to win it. And not trying to really brag, but I was right because all these Cowboys fans are like, "How could you not vote for Dak? Dak had more passing yards." It's like, no, dude. Like this isn't how this works. Like this isn't just a whose stats are better thing. Joe Burrow deserved to win it, but relative to the NFC East, I kind of think it's Dak's. I really don't know anybody else that's competing with him within the division specifically for the award.
I didn't want to give it to him because that's boring to me. So I gave it to Darius Slay instead, who I mentioned in my more overrated players from the Eagles last year. I think appropriately at the time because he didn't have a good 2020. He had a 111.9 passer rating allowed in 2020, and he just honestly didn't look that great to me. In my almighty subjective opinion, but this past season obviously made the Pro Bowl, 74.4 passer rating allowed, was a lot better. So, it's obviously going to go to Dak because of the Cowboys factor and whatever, and the quarterback and position, and it's fine. But I wanted to pick a non-Dak pick, so I picked Darius Slay.
That's stupid. It's Dak. I was distracted.
It's interesting for me to speak. It's Dak. Okay, we agree. Now we can move on. Like, is that good podcasting?
No, but I mean, but making something up you don't believe isn't good podcasting.
I'm not making something up I don't believe. I acknowledge that is how it would go, but like, it's not an interesting conversation to just agree with you and then move on.
Well, okay. So kudos to Dak. Chase Young is the heavy favorite to win this next year, right? Like who else is even coming back? Like, and the NFL is really weird. Sometimes like the actual comeback player of the year wins it from like coming back from sucking. Like it's not always somebody coming back from a heavy injury, but Chase Young is coming back from an injury. I think if somebody does win it, like coming back from sucking, it's Saquon. That's the like candidate for that archetype.
But
it's Chase Young. Like that's the only dude you can confidently bet on.
Yeah, the other candidates that I had here were Brandon Graham because he's coming off an injury. I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, I threw him in there because he's my guy. Also, Michael Gallup, in part because there's a scenario where he stays in the NFC East. It's not the Cowboys. Like the Eagles could conceivably sign him in if he had a big year. Again, not likely, but like I just threw him out there because honorable mention.
So I'm tweeting this as we talk, not the list, but. I mentioned this at the top of the show, but it is NFC East topical, and it happened while we were recording. On the subject of Chase Young's team, the Commanders, they tweeted out that they are changing their crest. They are changing the logo. Now, just to catch people up, a brief pause in our awards ceremony, which is obviously very important. But you saw this, BLJ. I think I sent it to you. They wanted to change it to the Roman numerals of the Super Bowls they won originally, which was their way, basically, of trying to get it right without acknowledging that they messed up, right? Like that was they were only going to change it and act like we wanted to be more accurate, blah, blah. But the NFL wouldn't allow that because somehow the NFL has copyrighted Roman numerals, which is amazing to me. So Washington, the Washington Commanders tweeted this out. We heard you loud and clear. Going forward, our crest will reflect our Super Bowl victories using the year from that regular season. And I tweeted this making fun of them because they deserve to be made fun of. Like they're acting like we heard you loud and clear. All right, we took the fan input. Like, no, you got it wrong. Like this wasn't, this wasn't you acquiescing. This was you correcting a mistake. It's amazing, dude, how they do nothing right. Like literally nothing about them happens the right way.
And it really, as a fan, it's like, how do you expect them to get like the football stuff right? If they can't get like the easy stuff right. So tough spot, as our good friend Rick Devins talked about when we had him on the podcast.
Yeah, it's almost Survivor time.
Too.
Yeah. Okay. So my dog, it's definitely meal time. The dog was barking in the background. I told you, dude, Tuesdays are insane. You asked me what I was eating for lunch. It's always like a leftover or takeout day on Tuesday because we just don't have the time. I'm a busy guy. I'm watching Succession now. That's all my free time is devoted to. So, kudos to me. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I'll be honest with you. This has been a little bit fun for me the last few awards. It's been very Cowboys heavy, certainly projecting into the future. This is difficult for me. So I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first. Coach of the Year for the NFC East in 2021.
I'm just going to agree with what you say because that's what we do on the show now and just move on.
All right.
No,
you go first. I was going to go, but you go first.
It's Nick Sirianni. It's your boy. It's your favorite coach in the division. It absolutely is. Coach of the Year is about, a lot of these awards should be about, but Coach of the Year especially, I would say, is about expectation and how you perform relative to expectation. And there were pretty low expectations for Nick Sirianni between the Eagles being a dumpster fire in 2020 and then his opening press conference, which I think is so overblown. And I hate how much that gets talked about because to me, like that was never a factor in my evaluation of Nick Sirianni at all because it doesn't matter necessarily how he does in the press conference in terms of his coaching ability. But he got off to a really bad start, obviously, in the 2021 season. And to me, one of the hallmarks of a good head coach is how they deal with adversity because everything isn't going to go right. There are times where things will be right and they're clicking and that's great. But the true measure, I think, of a coach is how things go when things go wrong. And that kind of speaks to, just for example, elsewhere in the league, how good of a job that Mike Tomlin has done with the Steelers in terms of the things that have gone wrong there. And not to say the situations are identical, but for the Eagles to kind of just basically like totally transform their offense halfway through the season and go from this really bad, no identity team to like the NFL's number one rushing attack. I think you have to give Nick Sirianni credit for that. You can ding him also to some extent for taking too long, but I do believe there was some kind of ownership / influence in there in terms of like, hey, we want to be a passing team. We want to evaluate Jalen Hurts as a passer. And I think it kind of shifted to Nick Sirianni being like, hey, you have to let me do what's best for the team in terms of maximizing wins now because I don't want to be fired. And this is my job. So I think he did the best job relative to expectation. and for the Eagles to be in the playoffs and make the progress that they did in 2021, I think you have to give credit to Nick Sirianni, your boy.
So first of all, let's relax on throwing bouquets of roses at Nick Sirianni for being the 7th seed. Wouldn't have been in the playoffs literally any year except for last year and this year. So
I'm not giving him a bouquet of roses.
You're giving him a few, maybe not a bouquet, but you grabbed a couple. You know what I mean? It's like a middle school Valentine's. Like you got a couple. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he's like a top 10 coach. So that's not what I'm saying at all. I think he did a good job.
I'd
give him like a B+ if I'm giving him a grade.
I think that he is the best coach in the NFC East.
Wow. This is such a departure from
in
this season.
Look,
you're like
so like we like to say certain things both here and on the SB Nation NFL show, but you can listen to Brandon and I on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So subscribe there, leave a rating, write a review, please. One of the things we like to say is that multiple things can be true, right? We say that all the time. Another thing that we like to say is your opinion can change, right? Like you learn new things, data happens, like life happens, like you can change your mind on things. I maintain the arguments and debates that we had about Mike McCarthy. I think that people are only confirming their priors when it comes to him. Now, like there are now legitimate reasons to doubt him severely in Dallas, but before it was just a matter of like, oh, blah, blah, Aaron Rodgers, blah, blah, whatever. And so there were legitimate things to believe in that you saw in the 2020 season. Again, I'm not saying the guy was like on the trajectory to win a Super Bowl, but there were things that there were principles about him that were different than his predecessor, which I realize is a low bar to clear. That being said, his team collapsed, and all he has done since then is point the finger and point the finger and point the finger. Referees, officials, blah, 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 schedules, all sorts of crap. Dude, just own it. Like kind of like this Commanders thing. I would respect the hell out of the Commanders if they came out and said, you know what, guys, like we messed up. We did this wrong. We didn't recognize it. And, we heard you and we understand that it's important to you, but we recognize our mistake. And so we want to get it right. That would still be embarrassing, but at least there would be some accountability there. Like that, I would appreciate if Mike McCarthy said, you know what, man, like, yeah, we had some success this year. We beat up on some bad teams, but we weren't good enough. I wasn't good enough. We kind of bought into ourselves. And he did say that after they beat the crap out of the Falcons when he talked about the monkey butt. Like he only likes to give credit to himself. He likes to kind of like explain a brag. He has to, we got down, but I pulled us out of that. And it's like, no, man, like this is lame. Like this is so lame. And there's all this tension right now with McCarthy and Jerry. You know what I would love? Because McCarthy loves to talk about how he knows what it takes to build a championship. I would love if Mike McCarthy walked into Jerry Jones's office and plopped his Super Bowl ring on his desk and said, I have one of these, you do not. And I know that you, Brandon, and anybody else might be like, yeah, well, so what? Like, that was pretty, like, a hollow Super Bowl win for him. Even that is more than Jerry Jones has accomplished, though. I would love it if Mike, like, and I want to see him, like, sink or swim. I want to see him be like, you know what? This whole using Zeke thing, like, this is not cutting it. I want to see him use the cachet that comes with a Super Bowl ring. And he has not been that dude. He has just been an extension of Jason Garrett, despite having the one thing that nobody else in Dallas has had forever. And so for that, I have to knock Mike McCarthy. I do think Nick Sirianni deserves a lot of credit for kind of making lemonade out of the lemons he was presented with. Did beat some tomato cans. Their final 4 wins against the NFC East and the Jets. I mean, it is what it is contextually, but these are low bars here in the NFC East. And pretty soon, he might be the longest tenured head coach in the NFC East. Like a year from now. That's pretty crazy to think about. I know that my theory was disproven by the fact that he did the stupid highlighter thing in Indianapolis, or maybe it was with the Chargers, but he had done it before, is my point. Yeah. But I still maintain that he, in his heart of hearts, he's like, man, the Philly bros, they're going to be dressing up as me for Halloween. Like, I really think he wants that. And I guarantee you he wanted that flower pot thing to take off and become the thing it became. But he backed that stuff up to a degree. I think Nick Sirianni deserves it. I think he's coach of the year for 2021 in the NFC East, and I have my coach of the year for 2022 if you're ready to hear it.
Let's hear it.
It's not Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, it's Brian Dable.
Why do you gotta do that? Like, wow.
I got him.
I mean, But like some of this again is like, and this happens with NFL honors. Like it's just about like you mentioned it with Sirianni. Like what did you do relative to expectations? The expectations are galactically low for the Giants.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like if they are just competent, I think he wins the award easily.
8 games, win 8 games, you're set. I mean, it depends what else other teams do around the league, but like if they win 8 games, like he'll be in the conversation for it at the very least, especially because of the market and everything. Too. Like, wow, the guy who is turning things around for the New York Giants. Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations to Brian Dable ahead of time. Okay, this one's gonna be tough. I think this is gonna be interesting. Our final award on the NFC East Mixtape Award Show, the inaugural NFC East Mixtape Award Show. You didn't wear a suit and tie? Why not?
Yeah, I did.
Let me see it.
I can't.
What's the when
Neither
you dress up?
What are you talking about?
When you dress up, what's the like the hoity-toityest thing you do? Like, do you have like cufflinks? Like, what's like the most elaborate detail that's part of your ensemble?
No, I don't have those.
Like a pocket watch? You have like a handkerchief in your front pocket?
I like the idea of a pocket watch. Don't do that. A monocle. I wear glasses, so that wouldn't happen. But I like the idea of that. Maybe like a cane. That could be cool. But no, I don't think I do any of that. What about you?
I think it's just like I walk different. Like I walk with like
Like a swagger.
yeah, like higher like I feel taller. Like I feel like music is louder in my ears. You know what I mean? Like I just, you know.
I want to go get that checked out.
MVP of the
tough.
NFC East in 2021. To be clear, I'm not like when I use the word argument, it's not a very strong one, but my argument would be for Dak. I mean, although like he cratered over the second half of the season. Actually, no. I didn't make up my mind on any of these except the obvious ones. My argument's for Micah.
Prep.
Micah Parsons. I think he's in. I think he has to be. He's the only dude in the whole division who was elite from start to finish. And if you want to harp on the word value or valuable, like a lot of people tend to do with this discussion, he was far more valuable to his team than anybody else.
This was tough. I don't think there is a slam dunk answer. I don't think anyone really deserves this award as much as it's kind of the tallest of the shortest candidates here. I had Micah Parsons as well, just because I don't know who, like you can't say anyone from Giants or Washington, obviously, and then who from the Eagles are you going to take over? Like again, if you want to take a whole unit, I would say the Eagles' offensive line might be the most valuable unit in the division because they were pretty. Like they powered the Eagles' success, any success that the Eagles had. But if we're giving it just a single player, I think you have to give it to Parsons. I think he was the biggest difference maker in the division. The Cowboys' defense being as good as it was in no small part due to him. And the Cowboys' success for a stretch there, as you mentioned, with the offense struggling, they really relied on their defense there. So I think you have to give it to him.
Very chalk awards. The only one we disagreed on was offensive player of the year and you, because you wanted to be dumb, comeback player of the year, right? Those are the only two.
Who's your MVP for next year?
Well, I was asking what we disagreed on for this year, but way to just ignore that. MVP for next year, man. I mean, again, it's a quarterback league. Like I think Dak would be in the running theoretically. He would be high on the odds list. I think Micah would be high on the odds list. I mean, the same guys we've kind of talked about. I tell you who a low key guy. I mean, if we're putting money on this, Daniel Jones. Like if we really believe in Brian Dable, I mean, that's your dark horse, is it not?
Well, that would be like a good bet in terms of.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, like I would put some money on Daniel Jones.
Put $20 on that to win like 2,000 or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like most likely, again, I would say Dak or Micah. I mean, I don't think it's Jalen. Like Jalen isn't powering the, and even if maybe it's Russell. If he's
do you want to get to my pick?
Hey, Howie called me and he said, let's make another bird. And I said, Howie, I mean, man, that's my dream. I mean, my dream. I'm here to play and to win, and I'm just so happy to do that. This city of brotherly love, and I'm feeling the love from you guys. I can't wait to work with you all and speak to you all in our regular media sessions. And it's a city with a proud, rich history. I loved Randall Cunningham growing up, and let's do it, baby. Go Hawks. I'm sorry, guys. It's taking me a minute. It's like go Birds. See y'all next time.
I did have quote Eagles QB Russell Wilson written down as my MVP for 2022. Also could be NFL MVP. Also, I think Russell Wilson, just taking him without a team designation I don't think the Giants are trading for him, but or Washington is going to be able to land him. But in the event that is also in the realm of possibility, not necessarily likely, but like more than a 0% chance, maybe he would just be a good candidate to take because in theory he could be on multiple teams. But,
you put Eagles QB Russell Wilson in air quotes. Who would be another quarterback that could be acquired this offseason that would legitimately be in the running for that? That is like practical. So, yeah, like Aaron Rodgers, and we're actually waiting for Aaron to be on Pat McAfee and be like, I can't believe you guys made a big deal about my Instagram post. But like, who else is like acquirable? Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins on the Eagle would be my nirvana. I would love that.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to do that kind of. They're not going to make that kind of move. They're not going to trade for like Jimmy G or Kirk. They're not. It's either like Russ or Hurts again, or they draft a rookie, whatever, to put in the mix. Yeah.
Well, Kenny Pickett.
No.
Okay, so the answer is Micah, Dak, or Russell Wilson. So, okay, cool. That is it for.
You ready for my surprise?
No, because I'm ready for my surprise. You thought that was the last award. You were wrong. Who was the most NFC Easty of all the NFC East players this season?
I'm so glad you came up with this because I was actually gonna suggest this idea to you in Slack, but I didn't. I was like, we should have an
before
NFC
it went
East.
down. Before it went down. To be clear about Slack.
Yeah, but an NFC East player of the division, and this isn't an MVP. This isn't like nope. It's a different thing. It's like who is the most NFC East player, and what does that mean?
That's why it says for the podcast audience, it says most NFC Easty. That's what it is
on the screen right now. Yeah. I was trying to think about this. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for this. Do you have someone in mind?
I do. Now he might be the player of the NFC East mixtape. To be very clear. And because the true player of the NFC East mixtape would not be a Cowboy or an Eagle. For obvious reasons. He is a friend of the SB Nation NFL show. We interviewed him back in Radio Row leading up to Super Bowl 54 in Miami. Gina, Kelly, and I did. It's Terry McLaurin. I mean, he's like kind of trapped. He's the most like trapped by the NFC Eastness. You know what I'm saying? Like of any player. Like he lives and breathes the most NFC East-ish stuff of anybody else in the NFC East. So I feel like it has to be Terry McLaurin. And like he is the perpetual, he would like, and I'm not saying this isn't true, but he would be so much better with a great quarterback. Give him a great quarterback, give him a great head coach, give him like, he is the constant like excuse making for him. And again, some of these excuses are justifiable, but like there's no real like poking at him. Like he is all hype. I don't want to say without any results, but I mean, he's just pure total hype in the fantasy community, in the NFL community. He's like the only thing that the Commanders have to kind of ride for offensively. Terry McLaurin, that's my pick.
Okay. I don't hate it, but I really don't have a strong feel myself. I would like to ideally in a perfect world, maybe pick a player who's been on a couple of NFC East teams as well, kind of just add that extra juice into that. But I don't have a great one. If you have a good one, listeners, please let me know because I want to hear what you pick.
Well, and if you thought that was the surprise, this is the other surprise. Who is the least NFC East of all NFC East players? I have an answer for this one too if you don't.
Yeah, like someone who totally just doesn't belong in this division.
Yeah, because they're amazing, and my answer is Micah Parsons. Like he is like cut from no cloth that everybody else in the division to some degree has been some sort of mediocre.
Because he kind of has like a DeMarcus Ware vibe to me. Like he fits in. Wow. I don't know.
Wow. Then who's your least NFC East player?
That's a good question. I don't know, RJ. I don't have a good answer for either of these. I know, like, there is an answer, and I've thought about it. It's not like I'm just like I can't think of. I mean, there isn't an answer, but I can't. It's bad podcasting, but I can't really think of someone.
Brandon is so tapped out because he's so excited for his surprise. So congratulations to Micah Parsons winning the least NFC Easty award on the NFC East Mixtape. BLG, your surprise.
All right, I actually came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 awards that we can run through. Garbage player.
You know what would have been great? Just to be. It would have been great if you'd given me these and I could have made little banners for them. That would have been cool. But whatever. BLG hates the YouTube audience. But what's your first made up award?
Garbage player of the division, I will give it to Mike Glennon because he was so bad. He was terrible. And I think you would agree with me on this. You could also give it to Jake Fromm.
Yeah, I think it's Mike Glennon though. Like Mike Glennon was truly awful. Okay,
why is he
Mike
still in
Glennon,
the NFL? Like, it's just like, what are teams doing? Like, he can't play. It's been apparent for many years.
It's amazing that in one offseason, like not even an offseason, like in the span of like a month or 2 months, the Bears paid Mike Glennon and then traded up one pick to draft Mitchell Trubisky. Like that sequence is amazing that it happened. So
I just never got it. Garbage coach of the year, Joe Judge. So need we say more?
I mean, we could. I think like if we had, I don't know if this is an award that you have that you didn't tell me about. Again, great job by you. I'm actually going to stop making these banners. It's too much to do it this quickly. So sorry to the YouTube audience. Garbage team of the year is like the Giants. Like they are garbage.
Hold on. Biggest disappointment in the NFC East. I think this is a good one. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You said it. My most overrated player for the Cowboys or for the NFC. For the Cowboys? Yeah, for the Cowboys, because we did it team by team.
For the NFC East, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Because there were so many people that were like, again, if you go relative to expectation, like, whoa, they got a quarterback now.
He got hurt.
Okay, then the Washington quarterback situation. Because there were a lot of Commanders fans who were like, man, just give Heineke another, just let him, just do it. Just let him. Like, so again, relative to expectation, it's the Washington quarterback situation. Or Saquon. Saquon might be the real answer.
Those are fair. I put Jalen Reagor. I wasn't personally expecting big things, but Eagles fans kind of were still, some at least. And also, when you just look at relative to expectation of like, and always having to measure up to Justin Jefferson, like that's he can't avoid that. Like that's something that's always gonna be like he measured against, and it's like, you just can't even. It's not even coming close.
It's more because like even CD's measured against Justin Jefferson now, right? So it's more than that. It's that the video of the Vikings laughing exists. Like it's just the meme is really bad for Jalen Reagor. So shout out to him.
It's funny too because people were like, "Oh, well, Rick Spielman got fired." I'm like, okay, well that kind of just makes it look worse that you got clowned by this guy who couldn't even keep his job. Like that's not like a testament to you. Anyway. Biggest fraud.
Mike McCarthy.
It's basically just invented.
Actually, no, honestly, it's Jerry. Jerry's the biggest fraud because Jerry is like, and this is something I've been, because again, this is accessible on Blog on the Boys. A lot of people have heard me say this, like, season ends, Jerry goes on 105 through the Fan in Dallas Fort Worth and is just like, I'm so mad. I'm upset. And all these Cowboys fans are tweeting, man, Jerry's pissed. Oh, my God, blah, blah. And Jerry's like, I would do anything to fix this, whatever. Literally did nothing. Like, literally did nothing. Like, literally just
what I
running
do
it back.
Not what I say.
Yeah, I mean, and so, like, Jerry is the biggest fraud. And he'll have some moment. He'll say something. He'll try to rile everybody up. And some people will fall for it. Not me, baby. My wound is too deep. I'm too hurt. So Jerry Jones, biggest fraud in the division.
I put Mike McCarthy / the Cowboys.
I would honestly there's an argument for Stephen Jones. And like Tom Rowell wrote about this last week at our site. I mentioned it on the 750 this week with Tony Casillas. But like Stephen, I don't know how like hip. I know BLG really does a great job keeping tabs on everybody. We both do. But Stephen really believes that he's this like master negotiator. The last 3 big deals that he has had to land, he lost. Big time. He lost to DeMarcus Lawrence after placing the franchise tag on him, so literally spent more money than he had to. He lost to Zeke Elliott, a running back, after the running back held out, and he lost to Dak. Like, I don't think we make a big enough deal. Like, he lost so big to Dak Prescott in a way that no front office has lost to a quarterback when it comes to contract negotiations.
I still think Dak was so dumb to not just play on the tag again because he could have made even more. But yes, he still... Stephen Jones,
so like he got a slight win, but Dak got an enormous amount of guaranteed money. Like, I mean, like you're right. Like there's
Dak
an argument to be made, but right.
But I just think he could have won even more. All right. So that brings us to, we have 3 left. This one's simple. The Dan Snyder Award for the worst owner. I'm going to give that to Dan Snyder.
Yeah. I don't know how anyone comes close. But if we isolate horrible human behavior to its own thing, and we talk just about like relative to football success, then it's Jerry Jones. Although this season it was John Mara.
But that's the thing though, like the owner, like this, like, you can argue more so that like a coach and a player I don't agree with this, but I'm saying like, there's a stronger argument that the coach and the players don't have to be as held accountable for that stuff because that's not necessarily always related to the on-field performance, but the owner is all encompassing. So he should be evaluated for every aspect, like off the field, like everything, not just the football product. So yeah, but it's Dan Snyder because it's pathetic. You know, all the stuff we've talked about with the botched Sean Taylor celebration, which is really just brought about because it was to cover up like what's going off the field with them and all the bad stuff. So it's self-explanatory.
Okay. Next award.
Dumbest new team name. Who do you want to give this to, RJ?
I mean, I'm not fond of Giants as a name, honestly. Like I think
it's the
kind
dumbest
of dumb.
new team name, though.
I know, but
it's not a new name.
Like that's the other part about this statement that they released, by the way, like relative to the changing of the crest. We heard you loud and clear. Then why'd you pick Commanders? Like, like if you can hear them loud and clear, why did you pick Commanders? Yeah, dude, like huge L's, like L's all around. Like their logo shouldn't be a W. They don't deserve for it to be.
It should be an L. I laugh every time I say Commanders. This is so stupid. Like, why am I saying this? This is dumb. It's like, do I have to? Do we all just have to go in line with this? Can't we just like still call them the football team and just refer to that and like deny this new name?
I mean, if you notice, we've been, we like it's kind of like habit. We refer to them as Washington. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think I'll ever get comfortable with Commanders.
All right, last award. Who is the best producer for the NFC East Mixtape award? Go to
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel Prevet. For those who don't know, our unseen, behind the scenes third member, full time of the NFC East Mixtape. Shout out to Rachel.
Rachel is the best. Incidentally,
her
this is the one episode that she is not producing, but so that's ironic. So she probably actually won't hear this, but
that's fair though, because she more than deserved a break and some time off.
Right.
You can follow her on Twitter and Instagram, I believe, at Rachel Monique.
Wow, those were some good awards to add on.
Thank
you. Who has the worst uniform in the NFC East?
So
I'm asking for a specific outfit, like a specific home or away, whatever. Not like
factoring in all colors, right? Like alternate jerseys, everything.
There's one right answer.
And active, right? Not just like throwbacks.
Right.
Okay. The worst. Well, I mean, it's the Commanders now, but are we
right? They're their own special category, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
So taking out the Washington team, I think the Cowboys uniforms are low key bad because the colors don't match up. There's like this silver and there's this blue and then it's weird. And then they wear their jersey is so bad that they don't even wear their regular home jersey a lot. Like it's like an admission that your jersey sucks. Yeah.
What are you talking about? They wear their home jersey more often than anything else.
Yeah, but the home team jersey is a dark color typically.
No, it's not.
White. Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. That's because they've adopted that. But the home team jersey started out as the white jersey. Every team generally, yes, wore white. And again, this has also changed.
That's not today's NFL, baby.
All NBA teams used to wear white at home.
That's
again,
dumb.
Like now,
the color should be at home. The white is for the road.
But now, like because everybody, again, this is where Jerry Jones is elite because everybody wears their color jerseys at home. The Cowboys wear their white generally 12 times out of the year. So it's the most identifiable jersey in sports.
It's dumb.
It's perfect. The worst jersey is a white jersey. It's the Giants when they wear it with the gray pants. That's stupid. It's awful.
Yeah, why would you do that? Just wear all the white, like the all white look.
I don't know why the numbers are red. Like their jersey, that one has no blue on it. They're big blue. There's literally when they wear that jersey and the pants, there's no blue on the whole ensemble.
Agree. Who is the best helmet?
Cowboys.
No, incorrect. It's the Eagles.
Cowboys helmet's beautiful.
But also, I think we both like the Giants when they do the Giants.
The block Giants.
Yeah, not the NY.
Go back to that. I would love to see that. You know what I mean? And I like the darker blue. You know, I don't like this the royal blue is kind of too Cowboys blue. You know what I'm saying? Like I like the navy blue that they used to have.
Okay.
Go navy blue helmets with block Giants and white face masks. Why do you want gray? Like it's dull. Like if you have color, it looks dull.
Okay.
Yeah. That it? Anything else? Any other awards you want to make up at the last moment?
I could give myself an award, but I won't because I'm a bigger person than that, both figuratively and literally. I do have a question for you. Do you like board games, RJ?
I love board games.
Have you ever played Betrayal at House on the Hill?
I've never even heard of this. This is one of those like unique board games that people who have like a bookshelf of board games have.
Maybe. I played it last night with some friends. It was really fun. It's like a board game where you kind of invent the game as it goes a little bit. Like there's set rules to be clear, but like it's not like one board game and you have these pieces and you move them all around like Monopoly. It's like the board game gets set up through kind of things you're exploring and events, and then the actual like plot of the game doesn't start until a little bit into it. It's called like the haunt, and then there's different kind of haunt scenarios that you have to navigate / traverse, and usually it ends up being like one player who caused the haunt versus all the other players who are then kind of like the protagonist. So it was a lot of fun. It was interesting, and I want to play it more in the future. So if you play that game, you can also tweet at us and let me know if you think it's good, if it's any fun, and if RJ should play it, because I think you would actually like it.
I did finish a game finally. As we wrap up, I finished Spider-Man Miles Morales. I know I had told you I was in the process of it. So my next PlayStation game is a game that my friend Jimmy has been recommended to me for a long time. It's called Detroit. No, it's called Detroit. So
how do you feel about a Detroit style pizza? Have you ever had it?
No. But
good.
I like best pizza to me is, you know what pizza is stupid? And
here, let's get a Texan's take on pizza. I want to hear this.
I think thin crust pizza is dumb.
Oh my gosh,
that's so stupid to me. Like, why?
Like how thin are we talking about though? Because people
any thin crust. Like, if I'm eating it, like I'm eating pizza for a reason.
Is like New York style though, like thin to you?
I don't care. I want it like an inch thick. I want lots of cheese. I want lots of dough. I want lots of sauce. I want pepperonis, and I want the crust to be kind of soft, but not too soft. And I want vials of cheese and peppers to put on. And I'm gonna eat it with a fork and knife.
Like a science lab over here.
I'm in potions class at Hogwarts.
What did you want on there? You said peppers and pepperoni?
I want pepperoni. That's all I want. If you want to throw some grilled chicken on there, like I'm okay with it, but I want cheese and pepper. The pepper flakes to pour.
What's your perfect pizza in terms of like toppings?
Pepperoni and grilled chicken. Okay. And like garlic, like tiny little garlic, dazzles.
Dazzles?
Yeah.
What's the unit of measurement?
What's yours before we leave? It's going to be something like anchovies, sausage.
No.
Coconuts, jelly beans.
Coconuts.
It's going to be something stupid. What is it?
All right. You're not very funny. Or you're not funny very often, I should say. Well, the other thing applied too, but that was good. That got me. That was good. Coconuts. Jeez. Were you trying to like say like Hawaiian pizza there?
No, I didn't put that much thought into it. So
I think a lot of people will tell you that like a cheese pizza or a plain pizza, whatever you want to call it, is like, the kind of the golden standard. Like you got to go with that. To me, pizza isn't pizza if it's not pepperoni. You just need pepperoni on it. I think other things can be fun. I think a buffalo chicken pizza is like its own experience. That can't just be like a general topping to me. It's not an all the time thing. It's an occasion. It's a great when you get it right too. But yeah, I love pizza. I can talk about pizza all day. But
actual last question on the subject of pizza. Who is the best Ninja Turtle, and why?
Oh man, I need more
the answer's Donatello.
To research this, because I don't like off the top of my head. I honestly can't tell you who's who.
Okay, pick the color of the bandana.
I can't I have to look at him to really think. So who's the one with the stick?
That's Donatello. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. He copied my Thursday take and he's copying my Ninja Turtle. Wow.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's called a staff, by the way, not a stick.
The stick, that's not why I was saying him. I think I don't want that. You ever played the arcade game?
That's the reason I asked you this, because on the subject of PlayStation games, they're launching it. I don't know when, but it's going to be accessible on PlayStation. So I was really excited about that.
I think it's either the guy with the pronged weapons. I forget.
Raphael.
Maybe him, or the guy with the sword.
Leonardo. This is so disrespectful. I'm really upset right now.
What's the other guy have?
The nunchucks.
Oh, the nunchucks. Those are cool too. Tough. I think it has to be the sword guy.
Oh, I'm not sure. So, okay. We just have to say this. I mean, this is the NFC East Mixtape, but
it's not the stick guy. Come on.
No, but right now, as we're wrapping up, Aaron Rodgers is on the Pat McAfee show, and everybody saw the cryptic Instagram message. Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday, Tuesday, there will be no news today, that he has made no decision on his future.
Oh well, the media is just making out a bunch of lies, and I just posted on my Instagram, and it's not a big deal.
Is Aaron Rodgers a Muppet now?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my best attempt.
Wow. Okay. Thank you all for listening to Volume 45 of the NFC East Mixtape. Shout out to Micah Parsons, Not Aaron Rodgers, Donatello, Pepperoni Pizza, and the day Thursday. BLG, the last 4,973,313 words belong to you.
All right. Well, I'm going to count all these out very specifically. So this is going to be a long ending to the show, but no, just listen to the SB Nation NFL show. Check out Righteous Felon Craft Jerky by going to righteousfelon.com. Discount code BGN15 for 15% off. Go check out Blogging the Boys for Cowboys coverage. Go check out Washington Commanders coverage at Alex Haven. Go check out Giants coverage at Big Blue View. But most importantly, check out Bleeding Green Nation for Eagles coverage, which is all you truly care about.
Zach Martin won Offensive Player of the Year.